Hi friends, how are you guys today? I hope you guys are all having an amazing day so far. If you are not having an amazing day, I really hope that your day gets better from here on out. I want to start this video off like every other video on this channel and say thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. I really hope that you enjoy it, and if you don't enjoy it, I hope you at least find it informative and give it a chance. So my name is Shanda and welcome to my channel, you guys. Today we are going to talk about the last couple days of the trial. We're going to do a quick review and recap of day 22 and 23, and then we will talk about day 24, which were the closing arguments, the finale of this trial. Now, a lot of people say if you have never watched the trial, or if you miss the entire trial, if you're wanting to watch it and you miss the entire trial, closing arguments is where it's at, and they did not disappoint. So why don't you guys sit back, relax, grab a drink, and let's get into it. Okay, so we are going to start with a quick recap of day 22. Now, day 22, Johnny was still in his rebuttal case, and he started the day off with a very quick, very powerful testimony from Kate Moss. Now, Kate Moss was in England, so she appeared via video, and she basically gave the story of her falling down the stairs, and she said at no point did Johnny ever push, shove, kick, punch, anything of her. And she also said that they were in Jamaica. It started raining really hard, like a monsoon, and Johnny was already downstairs, and she had come out of their little hotel room or bungalow, I think he called it, and it was pouring down rain, and she came down the stairs. She slipped, she fell and landed on her back, started screaming. Johnny ran over to her, scooped her up, carried her back to the room, and got her medical attention. At no point was there anything ugly at all that happened, and she was very clear on that. The Amber side did not even ask her any questions. They did not cross-examine her whatsoever. And then, of course, they tried to stay on the narrative that Amber just heard a rumor. Because if you remember when Amber first said this, she said, all I thought of was Kate Moss in the stairs. And she tried to insinuate to the jury that Johnny had pushed Kate Moss down the stairs. And you could tell when she said that, you can see her lawyers were like... and like they immediately tried to shut her up and get her to talk about something else, because she was trying to insinuate that Johnny abused his former partner. And after that, she then said it was a rumor. It was just a rumor she heard, but that's not really what she was insinuating at first.
See my little sister with her back to the staircase, and Johnny swings at her, and I don't even wait for any other, I don't hesitate, I don't wait, I just in my head instantly think of Kate Moss and the stairs, and I swung at him.
Anyways, the second witness they brought back on Dr. Shannon Curry, the beautiful, incredibly smart, amazing psychiatrist that they brought on, and she again completely crushed it. This woman is so smart. She doesn't even need her notes. I felt like I was in a psychology class when she first testified, and then I felt like it again when she testified again. She's very, very smart, and she crushed Dr. Don Hughes and basically said all of the things that she did wrong. And Don Hughes tried to say that she used 12 tests for Amber for her PTSD, and Dr. Shannon Curry actually said no, she only used 8, and you can call them tests if you want, but they're only checklists, and Amber did them herself. So of course she's gonna say what she thinks looks good. I mean, a lot of people do that. But she was great.
Dr. Prettyface is awesome.
Dr. Prettyface. On her cross-examination, it was absolutely ridiculous. Elaine just came up and started asking her all of the exact same questions that she asked her when she first testified. Do they know that you went to dinner with Johnny Depp at his house? Do they know you were wine and dined and blah, blah, blah? Because she testified previously that she was interviewed by Johnny's lawyers at his house because at the time he was homebound because of his celebrity status and all the negative media attention he was getting at the time. So he wasn't leaving his house, and his lawyers interviewed her in the presence of Johnny, which I don't see anything wrong with that. If I was spending millions of dollars, I would like to hear the experts interview as well. I wouldn't want to just trust my lawyers, because it seems like Elaine or Amber just trusted her lawyers, and the experts they got weren't that great. So if I was spending millions of dollars, I would want to be at the interview and hear the expert for myself and choose my own experts. But that's just me, I guess. Their third witness came out was Johnny Depp himself. He got back on the stand and he started talking about everything that they did. They did kind of go through a few things about how he felt about this and things like that, but they also touched on quite a few things they didn't touch on in his first testimony, which I thought was a really good strategy. First, he started talking about the Waldman statements. He said that he never even knew they existed. He never read the Waldman statements. He never heard of the Waldman statements. And he didn't know that those even existed until Amber brought that case forward. He also explained how he got Amber her role in Aquaman. And he basically said that there was, they were going to be filming in Australia, and they were worried about filming in Australia, probably because Amber's not welcome in Australia because she smuggled those dogs in. That's what I was getting the feeling of, because that was not brought up in the trial, but they tried to bring it up during the trial a couple of times and they were shut down every time. I don't understand why. I don't know why they weren't allowed to bring that in, but it does show a lot for Amber's character, so I think they should have brought it in. They definitely brought it in the UK trial, so I don't know why they weren't allowed to bring it in, because I remember in her cross-examination, Camille asked her, you filled out a fraudulent form in Australia, and then Rottenborn objected immediately. They sidebarred, and she wasn't allowed to bring that up. So that is why I think that she wasn't welcome in Australia, and the producers of Aquaman were worried about that. So Johnny got on the phone and relieved their concerns. He had a relationship with them. He spoke with them. He relieved their concerns about her. He basically put himself on the line for Amber, and they eventually agreed to give her the job. And that is what Johnny said. And you guys remember how mad Amber got when Camille brought that up about him helping her get the job for Aquaman? That was pretty funny.
Aquaman, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Mr. Depp got you that role in Aquaman, didn't he?
Excuse me?
Mr. Depp got you that role in Aquaman, didn't he?
No, Miss Vasquez, I got myself that role by auditioning. That's
Mr.
how that
Depp
works.
says, quote, your jealousy is so tragic.
She said, excuse me? No, Miss Vasquez, I got that job myself. Now, another thing I want to bring up is when Johnny was testifying, Amber was literally staring at him, glaring at him the whole time, and smirking at him and giving him this evil, condescending look. And I just, and I thought it was really ironic, because Amber eventually gets back up on the stand the next day that we're going to talk about, and she's up there crying and said, I'm not the one smirking this trial, making snarky remarks, and honestly, I couldn't believe she got up on the stand and said that, because the entire day before that she was smirking, like almost the whole time.
And what was your reaction to seeing the damaged light fixture?
To be honest, I was relieved because it was not a big deal. There was already another light in the room, so I just tucked the wires in the wall until I had a few months later time to buy, it was matching sconce with another one in the room. So I had to, on eBay, find a matching pair that would fit there. And when I finally got around to it, pair came out to $62.
Okay. While you were on site, at any time during Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's stay on the property, did you see Mr. Depp become physical with anyone?
Objection, leading. Overruled. That's
I'm sorry, that answer was...
I never saw Mr. Depp get physical with anyone when I saw him.
Thank you, Your Honor.
cross-examination. Thank you, Your Honor.
She absolutely was giving Morgan Knight the death stare when he was up on the stand. Like, I was like, what is she doing? Oh my God, what is she doing? Doesn't she know that the jury can see her? What is she doing? And I don't know if she was just trying to intimidate him. I don't know what she was doing, but she was just glaring at him and smirking at him. And then she did it to Johnny when he was back on the stand, especially when he was talking about how he felt having to be there.
Actually, not that many times. I would say in my lifetime, maybe in my lifetime, MDMA was to do to you.
Have you ever consumed 8 to 10 MDMA pills at once?
No, ma'am. No, I have not.
And why is that?
Exploded first bottle. That went past my head.
And Johnny at the very end of his testimony, he had an amazing, very powerful, very impactful moment where he says that no matter what happens with this trial, he has made it. He made it here. He spoke his truth. And basically, nobody can take that away from him. I mean, he didn't say those words, but no one can take that away from him. He fought for his name. And no matter what happens, he made it here. And he spoke his truth. And that was very powerful.
What has it been like for you to listen to Ms. Heard's testimony at this trial?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
Oh, overruled.
Insane. It's insane to hear heinous accusations of violence, sexual violence, that she's attributed to me, that she's accused me of. I don't think anyone enjoys having to split themselves open and tell the truth. But there are times when one just simply has to, because it's gotten out of control. Horrible. Ridiculous, humiliating, ludicrous, painful, savage, unimaginably brutal, cruel, False. All false. I wanted I no human being is perfect, certainly not. None of us. But I have never in my life committed sexual battery, physical abuse, all these outlandish, outrageous stories of me committing these things and living with it for 6 years and waiting to be able to bring the truth out. So this is not easy for any of us. I know that. But no matter what happens, I did get here and I did tell the truth, and I have spoken up for what I've been carrying on my back reluctantly for 6 years.
Thank you. No further questions.
All right.
And when he did that, I think Amber kind of got a little upset and selfish, like she has shown to be. And she decided that she wanted her own moment like that with the jury. And I think that is why she pressed her lawyers to put her back on the stand, because I really don't believe that they were going to put her back on the stand before that. I do not think they were going to. They literally had like 2 hours left at this point. They didn't have enough time. They had to put on their whole rebuttal case, and now she wants on the stand, and I don't know. If they put her on the stand, like, they had to explain to her, like, look, if we put you on the stand, we can't protect you. And they couldn't. They opened that door when they put her on the stand. And I think good riddance. I mean, she's the one who wanted to go back up there. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we get to it. I'm getting ahead of myself. So after they came back from the break, Rottenborn did his cross of Johnny, and I will give it to him. It was probably his best cross of the entire trial. He did a very good job. I don't know if it was because... Oh, God, sorry. I don't know if it's because he was, like, pressed for time or what, but he was, like, right to the point. He did a good job. He brought up texts... Sorry. He brought up texts of Johnny saying some, like, kind of crappy stuff about being with a woman sexually, like, I will take, blah, blah, blah. And Johnny basically said, no, I've never said those words. I've never said anything like that. And Rottenborn showed him these texts, and Johnny didn't catch it at the time. His lawyers didn't catch it at the time. Nobody actually caught it at the time. But if you look at the picture, these texts are incoming to Johnny's phone, not outgoing. See, it says incoming. These texts are incoming. They're not outgoing. Johnny didn't write these. So he basically said that he did not write these. He thought maybe somebody took his phone and wrote these, but he definitely didn't. And I found that believable because before I saw that they were incoming, I found that believable because Johnny has admitted to every other text that he's written, and he's apologized for it. He's apologized for the language, and he said, yes, I did write that. I was very upset, and he owned up to it. So when he said that he's never seen these texts before and he did not write that, I believed him. And then when I saw, oh, well, duh, these are incoming texts. Duh. So I know the jury gets all of this to go through all this evidence, so I hope that they see that because nobody caught it before. And they also brought it up in closing arguments, and they did not catch it then either. So I was like, Rottenborn also showed pictures of Johnny, and he said that this was before Amber punched you, because they were talking about their honeymoon, how he had this bruise on his eye that we've all seen these pictures. Well, he then showed him another picture and said this was before that train ride when Amber punched you, and you still had the same mark. And Johnny kind of looked at it, and you could tell he was confused, and he was trying to think of a reason why it would be there. Because the reason he came up with sounded kind of stupid. Honestly, he said like it could be like a shadow of the bone here, and I don't know, but you could tell that he was confused because he didn't know what was going on. But then they showed another picture, and you could see the light bulb go off in his head. It's like it clicked. He was like, that looks completely photoshopped to me. And I thought it was a really, really good point that they brought up the Photoshop, because it was a really good strategy, because after this same day, a little later, they have their digital expert come in and testify about all the pictures being photoshopped and edited and stuff like that. So I thought it was a really good strategy. But anyway, after Johnny's cross, they had TMZ came in with their emergency motion to bar their former employee from testifying in this trial. They heard the TMZ guy's motion, his argument, and then Ben Chu gave his argument, which is a really good one, about how the law is clear. They're not compelling him to testify. He's voluntarily coming forward. And yes, NDAs, they do take them seriously, but if he violates his NDA, then that is a legal issue that TMZ is going to have to take up with him, not, so basically the bird comes up, Elaine came up, and it was just shit everywhere.
Your Honor, I would like to weigh in from just a different perspective,
Okay.
and that is because we're trying to deal with some important issues of privilege, et cetera. But from our perspective, representing Ms. Heard, we have issues with this witness separately, and I want to make them very clear for the record. This is somebody who should have been identified in discovery, was never. Second of all, it's not relevant apparently what they're saying he's going to testify, and we have not had the opportunity to discover that, is he's going to claim that someone leaked to TMZ that Ms. Heard was going to obtain the TRO on that Friday, and also leak the video, the kitchen video with Mr. Depp being rather violent. I'm almost certain he's not going to claim it's Ms. Heard, so I think it's never going to come in.
All right. Ms. Berghoff, I understand all that argument. Do you have any argument as to this particular motion?
No,
okay, well, then we can address your...
My point is, though, if you balance the prejudice versus the probative value, I don't even see how he can come in on foundation or hearsay or relevance.
That's just not part of this motion at this time. Thank you, ma'am. All right, Mr. Tobin, your motion, you get the last word, sir.
Yeah, so she is just all over the place. I just don't want this witness. No, I don't have a legal argument. It was bad. So the judge said that the TMZ guy can testify, and then the TMZ lawyer was like, well, I want to be here to object to the questioning. Can I object? And she was like, no, you're not a party in this case, so you cannot object. So they finally had the former employee from TMZ come up on the stand. Now, I think they did a really good job with this. Camille was able to paint the picture for the jury of who gave that information to TMZ without this guy, Morgan Tremaine, breaking his NDA. It was very, very clever, because if he was to say, yes, it was Amber Heard. That would break his NDA, but the way they said it, it didn't break his NDA, and it was very, very clever, I thought. So they basically asked how he knew. Do they normally dispatch people to the courthouse? How did he know? It came directly from a source. And Amber, he did also say that Amber was supposed to come out and stop and turn and pose, basically, with the bruise on the right side of her face. So they knew all of this. Amber was supposed to stop and pose, and oh yeah. How'd they know she's supposed to stop and pose? Like, that was a really big indicator right there. And like I said in my previous video, and I don't know why no one has brought this up the entire trial, that courthouse has underground exits and entrances for high-profile people, for celebrities. They have a back entrance and they have an underground entrance for celebrities. And Amber decided to use the front entrance. And if you are a celebrity, they always ask, and this is what Christopher Melcher said. He works in that courthouse, and he said that if you are a celebrity, they ask you if you want to exit out of that place. And she had to have declined and wanted to leave out the front door, because they have to ask you, and you can do whatever you want, but that means she knew there was another exit. She declined, and she took the front exit. And then Morgan Tremaine started talking about the cabinet video, and he said that they got this video and they were able to put it up within 15 minutes. And the only way you can put it up within 15 minutes is to have it verified that quickly. And the only way to verify it that fast is if you get it directly from the source. We already know the source is Amber. She has admitted to making that video several times. You can see that it's her. And something else that he said was very, very interesting. He said that the video TMZ got was incomplete compared to the video the jury saw. So basically, the beginning of Amber turning on the camera and the end, I think, of her laughing, that was cut out. So, especially if it was Johnny leaking his own, which he would never, that would be so stupid. He wouldn't do that, but say it was. Why would he edit out the part that made Amber look bad? Come on. The Amber, of course, tried to lie, but these jurors aren't stupid. That's just silly. So, of course, Elaine did the cross-examination, and she basically accused him of wanting his 15 minutes of fame, and he clapped back at her, and it was so funny. He was like, well, I could say the same thing about you taking on Amber Heard as a client.
Case is being televised, right?
I am aware that there are cameras.
And so this gets you your 15 minutes of fame, doesn't
Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative.
I can ask that question.
Overruled.
So I stand to gain nothing from this. I'm actually putting myself kind of in a target of TMZ, a very litigious organization, and I'm not seeking any 15 minutes here. Though you're welcome to speculate. I could say the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
A little argumentative, don't you think?
Oh, hardly. I find that to be purely logical. Thank you.
Now, are you?
So moving on to day 23, Johnny had another expert on, and he was a orthopedic hand surgeon. He was talking about how Johnny sustained his finger injury and how he believes it was done. He said that it's very, very plausible that it happened the way that Johnny described. And he also said that in a lot of cases, they do not find glass inside the womb unless it's a very, very thin type of glass, like a wine glass or something. And a half-gallon vodka bottle is very thick glass, so you probably wouldn't find glass in the womb, and it is not uncommon. And he also said that it had to be a sharp, something very sharp to slice that off, because it was a very clean cut. So it had to be something sharp, like glass. And he said that if Johnny would have been slamming a phone into the wall over and over until it broke into smithereens. First of all, to slam a phone, you would have to, so how would he get it on the tip of his finger? And if you're slamming something on the wall, he said that you would have multiple injuries to multiple fingers and parts of your hand, and he just had that one injury. So I think his testimony was a lot more understandable as well. He explained it a lot better. His testimony was pretty powerful with the jury. I felt he did a very good job. After that witness, Johnny rested his rebuttal case, and Amber put on her rebuttal case. Now remember, guys, they only had like 3 hours to put on their entire rebuttal case. So they first brought on a digital expert of their own, and because Johnny brought on a digital expert, and that guy talked about, I don't know if I skipped his testimony on accident, but Johnny brought on a digital expert, and he talked about how every single photo that was given in this case by Amber was stored in an editing app, and you can tell how there was different sizes, but there's also different, it looks, some of these photos you can tell are visually different. So Amber then had on this her own expert who said that Apple has some sort of thing. I don't know. I don't use Apple. I have a Galaxy, so I'm not quite sure. But Apple has this thing. If you use it just to resize your photos to send them, then it stores it in an editing app. So it's plausible that Amber stored these photos in this editing app just to resize them and not to edit them, is basically what he was saying. But you can't prove either or. It was in an editing app, so she could have edited it. But Wayne Dennison did his cross, and he did a really, really good job. He absolutely just shut him down. He showed him 2 pictures that Amber had shown, and Amber showed both of these pictures, and she said that they were different pictures of her taken the same night, but different lighting is what she tried to say. It was 2 different pictures taken 2 different times with 2 different kinds of lighting is what Amber tried to say. But he showed these pictures to this guy, and he said, are these pictures different? He said, yes, they are visually, why do I keep saying visually? He said, yes, they are visually different. And then he showed how, or Wayne showed how they have the exact same time and date. Like, these pictures were taken at the very same second. They were taken at the same second. They have all the same data on it. There's no way. It's not possible. And he said they were visually different. So, ding, ding, ding. That shows that she edited that picture. And he was done with him.
I got no more use for this guy.
She then put on Dr. Don Hughes to try and rebut Shannon Curry's testimony. It was terrible. I know many people agreed that it was absolutely terrible, and we all felt like we literally had a mean teacher who we did not like yelling at us and lecturing us. It was just, I didn't like it. The jury probably felt the same way. I mean, usually if we feel a certain way, at least one of the jurors feels a certain way. But she was cross-examined by Wayne, and again, she was crushed. He basically pointed out how she kept telling Elaine, you got to read the manual. You just got to read the manual. That's what she was saying in her direct examination. So Wayne was like, well, guess what? We're going to pull out the manual. They objected, but he was able to pull it out because she was the one that was like, well, you have to read the manual. So he pulled out the manual, and she actually changed the rules basically to fit her narrative, and she didn't follow any of the instructions. She did it her own way, and she's trying to say something bad about Dr. Shannon Curry, but she wasn't even following any instructions. She basically literally just changed the instructions, and she kept saying, well, I oriented it to fit Miss Heard's situation. You changed the instructions. You didn't do it right. You didn't do the tests the way you are supposed to, because other people, her assignment was to do these tests to where other people can review them, and she did not do it correctly.
I'm finished with this guy.
So I spoke about Johnny having his final moment with the jury, and selfishly Amber decided, well, I want my final moment too. So their third and final witness for the rebuttal case, I mean, that's probably the worst rebuttal case I've ever heard. A digital expert and a psychiatrist who both got crushed. So anyway, they brought up Amber, and I almost said Dr. Rottenborn. Rottenborn did her direct examination. He kept it very narrow and just asked her a couple of questions like, how did you feel, and how did Waldman's statements ruin your life, pretty much. And again, of course, Amber cried. Well, she didn't cry tears, but she sobbed on the jury, or towards the jury, and just kept looking at them, sobbing, trying to make them feel sorry for her and say that people were mocking her sexual assault testimony on social media and stuff like that. And the jurors are probably like, why are you looking at what people are writing about you on the internet right now? And why are you telling us? And the fact is, if people are mocking her story, which they probably are, it's probably because everybody knows it's not true. That's why people are mocking it. That's why people think she's that disgusting of a human being, because she would make up something as horrible as that to score points with the jury. She claimed that people wanted to put her baby in a microwave, which is absolutely horrible, and if anybody is doing that, they need to stop, because that is not okay, no matter what. But she didn't have to prove any of this. That's what I thought was interesting. She didn't have to prove that people are mocking her. She didn't have to prove that people are saying they want to put her baby in a microwave. And honestly, I don't know if it's true. I have a gut feeling it's not true, and I think that she's just thinking of the worst possible thing that she can think of and using that to try and gain sympathy points with the jury, and it's, again, disgusting. And with what we have seen of Amber Heard and what kind of human being she is, I don't put it past her at all to make up something like that to try and get sympathy points. So after her direct examination, Camille approached the bench, which I thought was the appropriate thing to do. She wanted to talk to the judge and have the judge let Rottenborn know what is allowed and what she's allowed to cross about, instead of just Rottenborn objecting over and over and over and over. So they were up there for a few minutes, and Rottenborn looked like he was not happy at what he was being told, but Camille was allowed to cross-examine her. I mean, they put her back up on the stand. They opened that door. Camille just crushed her. Amber pretty much said that everybody is a liar except her. She said that Morgan Knight, the manager of Trailer Palace, wasn't even there. At first she said she didn't think he was there, and then she said he definitely wasn't there. And everybody's lying but her. Everybody's lying but her. It was ridiculous. So after Amber's cross, they rested their case and went home for the day. And Friday was closing arguments. Once again, closing arguments, Camille killed it. She got up there. She was so amazing, so powerful, so impactful, so on point. She went through so many points of the case and just bam, bam, bam. Like, she killed it up there. So Camille turned it over to Ben Chu. He got up there. He did a great job. He was very powerful as well. And he also did a really impactful job, because at the end of it, Ben Chu actually got choked up and sounded like he started crying. He said that it is show Johnny and Johnny's kids that the truth is worth fighting for. And he started almost crying. It was very powerful.
It is about restoring his lost reputation. It's about showing Mr. Depp's children, Lily Rose and Jack, that the truth is worth fighting for. It is. And it's about restoring Mr. Depp's name and standing in the community to the fullest extent that you can. And you can do something. And only you, ladies and gentlemen, can do that for him. You heard from Mr. Depp yesterday that he has been carrying these outlandish, outrageous stories on his back, pretty stoically, and living them with them for 6 years, and waiting to be able to bring his truth out. And he has told you the truth, the unvarnished truth, even truth that pretty embarrassing. He knew that was going to happen when he brought this case. You've seen the evidence in this case over 6 long weeks, which we again thank you for. That evidence shows overwhelmingly that Ms. Heard's attempt to paint herself as a heroic survivor, an innocent survivor, and Mr. Depp as a terrifying abuser are utterly false. We ask you to please return your verdict for Mr. Depp. We ask you, we implore you to give him his name, his reputation, and his career back. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take a break.
And after that, Rottenborn got up there and he did his closing. He did a pretty good job. He did pretty well. Now, remember, Amber's side has the law on their side more so than Johnny's side does. So Rottenborn got up there. He spit the law. He spewed the law out, and he hit it point by point, the law, and he just did a good job. And then Elaine got up there, and she was just like, like she was manic. I felt like I was being yelled at, like more so than Dr. Dawn Hughes. Like she was just completely chaos. She was just here, there, everywhere, up, down, this, that, just ridiculous. It was completely crazy and manic, and she just kept rambling on and on and on, and it was just, it went way too far, way too long. And the really bad part of what she was doing was she was constantly misinterpreting evidence. She was constantly mischaracterizing testimony, and she got in trouble for it like 3 or 4 times. Like, attorneys don't like to object during closing arguments, but Ben Chu had to object like 4 or 5 times, and he even said, I don't want to object, but... And they went up there, and every time they came back, Elaine had to backtrack and fix what she said, because she was up there just saying stuff that wasn't true. Like, she was saying, oh, this witness said this when they actually said that, and this evidence shows this when it actually shows that. And she got in trouble for it several times, but she just kept ranting. It was awful. After she was finally done, they went ahead and took their break, and then they came back, and rebuttal crosses was Camille had 39 minutes left and Elaine had 6 minutes left. And Elaine even said, well, what about the sidebar? And Judge Penny says, I didn't even take any time away for any of those sidebars. So she ranted so much, they only had 6 minutes left. Camille was doing her rebuttal cross, and honestly, I was listening to her cross, and it did the split screen of Camille and then showing Amber's face, and I was just getting so pissed off because Amber and Elaine were being so disrespectful. They were laughing at Camille. They were laughing. They were giving dirty looks. They were smirking. It was just awful. And they were doing it the whole time she was up there talking. And the thing that pissed me off was Elaine and Amber are sitting right here, and Rottenborn sitting behind them. But the camera is just on them. You can tell that Rottenborn was up there saying shitty ass remarks every time Camille would say something, because Amber and Elaine would both look behind them at Rottenborn and nod and laugh, and they would all start laughing. It was just so disrespectful of not just Camille, not just Johnny, but the court. It was not okay. And I'm just sitting here thinking, Amber, are you stupid? Do you not know that the jury can see you right now? Like, what is wrong with her?
And it is instructive that the things she chose to document had nothing to do with violence. She documented Mr. Depp sleeping. She documented lines of cocaine, featuring prominently Mr. Depp's loan-out company or production company, Infinitum. Stage photographs. That's what she documented. Mr. Rottenborn's entire argument assumes that Mr. Depp, a man, should be disbelieved because despite the fact that Ms. Heard can't support her accusations with actual evidence, constant the abuse Ms. Heard claims, she would have had serious injuries. That's a fact. She would have had serious injuries that would have been observable in the pictures we looked at and by the witnesses we heard from, and would have required medical attention. That's it. Ms. Heard testifies to injuries that multiple people didn't see. What you have in the end is Ms. Heard's word. Do you trust it? And he's got a dark sense of humor. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's who he is. And Mr. Depp owns text messages. He acknowledges that he said those things, and he said things that he shouldn't have. But using bad language and colorful humor does not mean that you are a violent abuser. And ironically, as much as Ms. Heard is trying to use Mr. Depp's words against him, it is Ms. Heard who repeatedly admitted to violence. So he doubled down on the hoax theory, that everyone's just lying. First of all, it's not even true Keenan Wyatt is on his payroll. Ben King isn't on his payroll. Officer Melissa Sines isn't on his payroll. Morgan Tremaine, capture of this supposed rampage. Mr. Depp moaning in distress, that's what she chose to record. What sort of person records something like that? What sort of person takes pictures of their husband or boyfriend or fiance who's struggling with sobriety, nodding off with ice cream dripping down his leg, his hand in his pocket, or asleep on the ground? What sort of person does that?
That pissed me off. But she said how Johnny admitted his flaws. And that's when Rottenborn said something shitty and they turned and they were like, ha ha ha, yeah, no he doesn't, ha ha. First of all, Johnny has admitted from the beginning of this trial he had a drug problem, he had an alcohol problem, and he also admitted to all those texts and apologized for the language and said he was not happy about it. He admitted to all that stuff. Amber, on the other hand, has admitted to nothing. She has not admitted to anything. Everything is just somebody else's fault. Everybody else is lying. Oh, that's not what I said. Oh, that's not what I meant. Even when you hear me apologizing for punching him, that's what he was saying. I was talking about something totally different that we never discussed at all in this recording. But that's not what I was saying. And you think you saw blue, but it's really pink. Like, she did not take responsibility for anything. So I found it very ironic how they were over there laughing at Camille and Johnny saying, oh, he doesn't take responsibility. Ugh. It was so gross. So gross. But I'm sorry, I don't want to get off track here, but that got to me. Then Rottenborn just got up there and said, Camille wants you to believe that physical abuse and sexual abuse is the only abuse, not verbal or emotional. And I was like, smart guy, no. That is not what Camille said. She said that we are talking about sexual and physical abuse claims. Amber is claiming sexual and physical abuse. That is what this case is about. That is what she's claiming. That is what we're talking about. She didn't say that verbal and emotional abuse doesn't exist. That's not what she said. Again, he recited the law again and basically said if they don't award Amber, they will be telling all victims that they don't matter and they can't speak their truth, which is not true at all. If Amber really was a victim, this would not even be an issue. We wouldn't even be here at all. But she is the abuser, not Johnny, and I wholeheartedly believe that. I also feel like Johnny Depp winning will also help women out there as well. Because if the women who make false claims are punished for making false claims, then there wouldn't be so many women out there making false claims. So that would in turn help the women who are not making false claims and who are really coming out with their story. Does that make sense? I mean, I'm trying to say it right the way it is in my head. Like, if the women who made false claims were punished more often for making false claims, then they wouldn't do it as much. So in turn, it will therefore help the women who are telling the truth, and it will help people believe that they are telling the truth, because if they're not, then you get punished for that. And that would give more leverage. I don't know. I'm trying to say it right, but hopefully you guys know what I mean. Because Amber is the one who is setting the clock back for women who come forward, not Johnny. And I also want to say, if Amber really was a victim and if Johnny really was abusive to Amber, then when he caught her recording that cabinet video, he would have hit her. If he really was this abusive monster and was just always beating her up, and he was that mad and that irate, and I believe that video was taken like right around the time his mom passed away. If he was that mad and that irate, then, and he caught her filming him, he definitely would have hit her if he was an abusive person. And guess what? He didn't hit her, even being that mad and catching her filming you. And he still didn't hit her. And she laughed and smirked about it, which tells me she is not at all afraid of him. She knows he's not going to hit her. That is everything that happened in court. Now, the jury went back and they deliberated for the rest of the day. They did not reach a decision, so they will continue deliberations Tuesday, 9 a.m. And we are all just waiting on the edge of our seat to see what the jury comes back with. Now, Rottenborn kept telling them, all you have to do is believe that Johnny Depp verbally abused Amber just one time. He verbally abused her even one time. Amber wins. So, and technically, man, I don't know. Technically, Amber saying 2 years ago I became a public figure for blah, blah, blah. Technically, that is true because she did accuse him of domestic violence 2 years before that. That's why Johnny's team has to go back before that and prove that no domestic violence ever occurred and prove that she was lying then. So that is why it's also important. But I don't know, you guys. It is all up in the air. I'm very nervous. A lot of people are on the edge of their seats, but I just wanted to get you guys all caught up in case you missed the past couple of days. And the jury will continue deliberating on Tuesday, and I hope they reach a verdict soon. The longer they take to reach a verdict, the more nervous we're all gonna be. I really hope that Johnny gets some sort of justice, and I hope that evil Amber Heard does not get victory with this. I mean, they can come out and say that nobody gets nothing, and that would be, whatever. I think Johnny just wanted to show, he just wanted this trial, and it televised so that everybody can see that he did not do those things. So that is everything, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know what you guys think of all of this in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about the jury. Let me know what you think about when they'll come back with a verdict. I did hear some people that were in the gallery say that the jurors look like they were all leaning more towards Johnny. Definitely let me know what you think. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I appreciate it so much, and it really, really helps. And I will see you guys in the next video. As soon as the jury comes back, I will definitely, I'll let you guys know, but I don't know if they're going to broadcast the decision or not. I heard they were, but then I heard that they weren't going to. So as soon as I find out, though, I will let you guys know, and I will see you in the next video, you guys. And remember, in a world where you can be anything, please be kind to each other. The world really needs kind people. Thank you. Love you guys. Bye.